Alrighty. Hello, hello. Okay, so where to even begin? Uh, I guess start out, right? I got Philly maxed out, or really close to maxing out day one. Still gonna take a lot of stars, but I mean, to be honest with you, on day one to have a 3 star is pretty damn impressive in my opinion. Um, I haven't got enough speeds and healing, but I've almost got all her skills done, and then I've got the exclusive gear done. I also need to get like a set of Lancer gear, but that's a it's aside the point. Uh, the one thing that I have got doing though is I got Geronimo started. I got Geronimo done, so there's that. If and when Flint finally shows up, I'll have Flint maxed out too. I've actually got so to kind of give you an idea of what I have. So I've got a fair amount of speeds, but I've got around 295 of these widget chests. So I'll have, more than likely Flint maxed out come time for it. Something that is coming at some point, and I don't exactly know when, but pets will come to our state 467 at some point. Now, we did get mollywopped. Like, it was not pretty. Foundry battle last night was god awful. I will say that they were in 477. They were in a newer place. Is this game fun? Yeah, I mean, it's basically, if you know what Lords Mobile is like, it is very much like Lords Mobile, Rise of Kingdoms, those kind of games. It's a pay-to-win game. I'm not going to shit you there. The group of people in it, though, not bad. I honestly, I would compare the PvE to this, though, to, like, Lost Crusade, Warpath. Like, it's similar to Lilith games and how they approach PvP, but their events are pretty well tuned. And I'd say, even as a free to play player, you're not going to have that bad of a time with this game, honestly. I will not bullshit you, though. It is kind of one of those games that obviously people are very intentionally, like, not going around burning alliances. And I went around and just burned one to the ground that was in the NAP 10, and I got so much hate for that. It's a miracle I'm still able to play, to be quite honest with you. But it didn't work out as bad as I thought it would. I honestly thought I was going to be in a shit show, but it actually didn't turn out that bad. Like, it actually it went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. All right. I will say though that with all of the events coming up, so for those of you who are kind of new to the game, right? They have a calendar, so you get different events depending on the day. They have seasonal events, so like just not that long ago, they had a Halloween event. So they do all Halloween events. They do. I would imagine there's probably going to be something coming up come Christmas. I don't know if they'll celebrate Thanksgiving, but we'll see. Hell yeah, Isaac. That it is. I just changed my name is all I did. It's just such a tiny little detail, but I did it because partly I don't know, like I kept getting people coming to the channel, and I guess they either thought I was like a fisherman or some shit, and then they're like, well, wait, it doesn't do fishing. And then it's like, okay, I think I can understand why the algorithm and YouTube is like looking at this and going, I don't know what to fucking put this guy next to, because I'm putting this guy next to fishing channels and it ain't fucking working. And then it just finally dawned on me, well, maybe I should just change my name. And that'll be enough to make the algorithm separate me from fucking normies that fish. And it'll just fucking click. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it fucking worked, but it doesn't matter. Because what I discovered was I could just fucking play whatever the hell I want to play. I don't have to play Lords Mobile all the fucking time. I like, once that fucking clicked, I was like, dude, what have I been doing with all my fucking time and energy playing Lords when I could be playing anything I fucking want to, when I want to? And I don't know. I feel like it comes off more genuine anyway, because it's just like, I don't know. I can't fucking force myself to play something and then not. I mean, it's not that I don't play it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still playing fucking Lords. I just don't play it like, the problem is like when I play it, it's for KVK. It's like, it'd be like playing this game, but waiting for SPS every time and doing fuck all in between. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of boring. There's nothing to like upload or anything. Could I burn War Sword? Probably. Do I want to? No, I think it'd be more exciting to fucking royally hand his ass to him in SF, which is basically the equivalent of like in base and Lords Mobile. It's very similar to that, but they call it Sunfire. Is what they call it. So basically, you've got like, God, I don't even know where to fucking begin. Because like today, they basically have like a new rotation of heroes come out every set amount of time. Yeah, this game is the fucking ads are just as bad, if not as bad as Lords. But I don't know. I like picked it up mainly because I was looking for something new to play, and it was just enough like Lords to me that I was like, okay, I can play this. Like the reason I don't play Rise of Kingdoms or Call of Dragons, and don't get me wrong, I have played them. Okay, the reason I don't is because I hate the fucking mechanic where what they do is they limit you by the amount of attacks you can do. They limit you by stamina. That is something that fucking irks me in ways that you cannot, like, I do not like being restricted as a whale at all. It just, like, if I'm going to spend the money and I'm going to go through all that fucking pain and agony, then I might as well have the right to fucking do what I so goddamn please. Don't get me wrong, these games are fucking trash for that kind of crap, you know? Like, it's just not how I fucking see these games. I look at them exactly for what they are, which is to say that they are wallet warrior games. The guy who wins and beats the living shit out of people in these games is the guy who spent the most money. It's not even some kind of secret either. And so when I walk up and I go into an alliance, right, and I find like this alliance that's full of fucking free-to-play players, and they start talking shit, it's like, guys, I don't think you understand. I could just fucking mollywop the living fuck out of all of you if I wanted to, and you would quit playing the game. I choose not to because I'm not an asshole, but I will go burn an alliance to make a fucking point. You know, like, the thing is that we have an alliance in this state of ours, right? And mind you, you don't migrate in this game, right? Like a lot of people are expecting this game to be like Lords, and the fact that you can migrate, well, they don't have that implementation yet. That is not to say that they won't at some point. It's just right now that's not really their focus, and I don't think it would benefit them initially anyway. Because from what I can tell, SVS is a healthy amount of it. Because they'll let you fight other states. They have like Foundry Battle, which is like Dragon Arena. They have events where you can participate and fight against other states. It's just they're not going to let them commingle into the same fucking server either. Which I actually kind of like that, because if you are in charge of your state, which is to say like your kingdom and lords, you don't have to be fearful of somebody coming over and fucking molly. Like, that's not a concept that you have to think about as much. Yeah. I mean, that to me, it balances it. Like, you'll always know who the pay-to-play players are in your state. It'd be like knowing, okay, there's only gonna be so many assholes. It's not gonna be a constant round robin of you getting your ass handed to you every time you turn around the corner, though. That's one thing I really like about this game, honestly. It's something that stands out from others that are in the same genre. Because while Lords Mobile is, you know, I guess, how do you say, it's progressive, but there are some lingering fucking problems, right? Which is to say that they continuously add kingdoms and then do fuck all in between. Like, it's gonna get, I mean, I think it already has gotten to that point where now people are like, well, this fucking event is bullshit. I'm basically getting paired up with people that have literally played for, you know, years, and it's like, okay, I don't have a chance in hell if I get paired up against that. So what did they do? Well, they migrated all the new players into the new kingdoms and then set up restrictions so that the old players couldn't play. And then it's like, okay, so now if you're a tank or a whale that's been playing the game since like, you know, fucking 2017, 2018, or even 2016, like, you know, no, you can kiss your ass goodbye, man. Like that. There's just no fucking point anymore because you're playing with the guys that literally have played in the busts and booms of the crypto boom in 20. And that's one thing else that I also don't care for is the fact that it's not even a public secret, but like you think about the people like Mr. Beast, you think about like, you know, PewDiePie and a lot of these major channels, and they got all this fucking money. right? And a lot of people don't realize Lords Mobile is where a lot of that money came from. And call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not fucking with you when I say this. You can look at the boom and like Sneaky Tashi, right? And 21, he starts mentioning app coins, and the cryptocurrency of app coins, it goes to the roof. It goes from being like 0.02 of a penny to 20 cents in the span of like 3 months. So if you had $2,000, you had 20 grand. If you had 20 grand, you had 200 grand. If you had 200 grand, you had millions. I mean, it's actually kind of terrifying. And in some ways, it's like I look at it, man. It's just I don't know. Like it doesn't at all sketch people out, because people are like, even in this game, right? The people that they fear the most, and believe me, this sounds crazy, but it's not. A lot of these sponsorships and shit like that were going on at the time, they were offering people basically incentives to promote these, in-app stores or third-party app stores. And the biggest reason behind that was because you got Apple taking 30% off of every single transaction that's ever done, including Apple or Google. They're fucking sitting there pocketing the money that basically people are buying into these games, right? And it started out with the Amazon coins. Started out with Amazon stepping in and saying, "Hey, we'll do discounts in between," and they were doing like 10, 15, 20%, sitting in between, making revenue on the margins, But it got so much worse. Once the crypto got in, and then you had Steam, and then you had Epic, and then all these, that's when it just, I don't know, dude. It just got, like, you just suddenly, all these massive accounts were coming out of nowhere. Yeah, and Huawei. And there's a lot of money coming out of Huawei, too, that, it like, got banned in the States. And I always thought it was sketchy as hell. How, even like me, at the time, Huawei wasn't illegal at the time, and I thought about sponsoring with them, but then I was like, well, hold up. What exactly are you guys doing? You're installing a software on people's phones, and it's phoning back to China. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not so sure I'm okay with that. And that's where it got really sketchy, because you started to realize that a lot of these third-party app stores, they've got a fucking angle, right? Because basically, if you do anything financially through them, right, they've got intel and information on you. They have, they know how much money you're spending, and what you download is not exactly vetted. So you might be downloading malware and not know about it, and then you wind up getting, and in some cases, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these third-party app stores might have had, banking malware and shit like that on there. I mean, even today, there are still people that are, they wonder, like, why is it that when you play like a game like Whiteout Survival or Lords Mobile or any of these mobile games, right? And you see these guys selling their accounts for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and they're doing these transactions publicly on places like Facebook and YouTube and so on. And people don't even sit here and think that, that is the money launderer's dream right there. Because basically all they're doing is buying up shitloads of gift cards, cryptocurrency, you name it, dump it into these accounts, and then they can either steal people's accounts and turn around and sell the resources, the gems, and whatever for cash, turn around, and that basically cleans the money for them. Or they can even turn around and sell these accounts and then just rinse repeat, right? And they can build these fucking giant buses where they basically fill a bunch of people in, pay $100 in. It's another fucking scheme. There are so many Ponzi schemes, it's not even fucking funny. Like, I honestly, when I started looking at it more or less just from an abstract, I was like, dude, we've got fucking drug dealers and shit like that going around. There are so many massive fucking people that are big in these games, and they're like, oh god, they're whales and they're fucking big and they spend all this money. It's like, no, they don't really spend their money. No. What they've done is they've illegally found a way to get around a lot of these systems, and they're blatantly fucking doing it publicly. It's just fucking nuts to me. But once I saw that, I was like, okay, now it all makes sense. And don't get me wrong, there's probably, even in Whiteout Survival, there's probably some guys that, I'll probably burn $10,000, $15,000, probably. There's probably some that'll spend upwards of $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000. Those are pretty rare, I mean, it's there. Don't be wrong. I'm not saying it's not there. Like, if you're wondering what will approximately $7,000 get you into Whiteout Survival, you're looking at it because that's approximately how much I've already got into the game. Just to max mythic gear, okay, just to get even to purple, okay, it's like $500 or $600, okay. If you're doing Geronimo, I swear to God, this guy's probably close to probably, and considering that his levels is tied to your VIP, that's easily a couple $1,000s. It's probably like 4 or 5 grand at least, because I'm already in like 7,000, and I'm not even close. Now, like, Philly, for example, Philly's not that bad, right? Like, I would say Philly's probably like a $500-600. Simmons $500 or $600. Natalia is easily $500 or $600. Um, Fucking Molly's 4 and a quarter, I think. So I mean, just giving you a number. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm bullshitting you, but I'm not. Like, I can give you a pretty good, accurate idea of how much money you can dump into a game like this. I will say that compared to Lords Mobile, it's not near as expensive. They're not really. I mean, that's fast rolling it. If you're doing it like in one shot, and if you're doing it slow, it's not that bad. And the reason being is because if you're slow rolling it, what you do is you just basically get your VIP level, and then you just get mythic shards, and then you slow roll it. If you're spending like in a fucking boom like this, like day one maxed out, those are the numbers that I'm throwing at you. The main thing that I can tell you is that a lot of people will, they'll look at these kind of games and they're like, okay, anybody that spends that kind of money is fucking retarded. Fair. Like, you're definitely fucking sketching, most people out. But to be honest with you, I'm also the type of guy that, if you don't know what options trading is, I know more about Wall Street bets and options trading than I should. But dude, there are people that dump like $1,000, $1,500, $3,000, $10,000 on the price of apples being worth 10 cents more, and they make thousands of dollars just on the premise of it being 10 cents more. When I look at it that way, it's like money is meaningless when you look at it from this perspective. And it's like it has value, and it is worth something, but there are so many people in this world that have everything, and there are just as many people that have nothing. There are people that work their ass off, and it just to make like 3 grand a month, for example. I mean, don't get me wrong, money does have value. It's just so fucking easy for somebody to lose it all, just as easy it is to get it all. I mean, it is that's what's wild about it. What I can tell you is, I mean, and this is my 2 cents from it, right? I work in IT is what I do. I'm a jack of all trades. So what I do is I'm both a programmer. I look at everything. I mostly work with ERP systems. So I'm typically the guy that whenever a company is trying to implement like say like a report on, or something that, let's say I want to know how many inventory items I have, and I want to know the approximate cost, and then I want to put that into a program and make it so that I can sell something. Like, I'm both the guy that is maintaining the infrastructure and helping maintain the everyday to day operations and software that basically runs a lot of the major things. Like, everybody has an engineer that's sitting down and he's working on making a new component, a new update. I'm basically that guy that when his job quits work, like the tools that he uses quits working, I'm that guy too. Like, I'm in every facet of someone's day-to-day life. I don't work hourly though, so everything or anything. I mean, if for some reason something shits the fucking pan, everything quits working. I'm that guy that like, yeah, I'm probably up at 2 or 3 in the morning trying to make something work. I mean, it's fucking nuts. But at the same time, I love it because it's like I can see things that most people don't see. And that's I mean, it's one of those things that it's so enjoyable because I can see everything from the hardware level, which is to say I understand kind of to some degree of what's going on in your computer at like a hardware level. It's really fucking fun when you understand that like electricity and voltages and shit like that. You can get ones and zeros out of that, and then you can use resistors to control basically logic gates, and then you can go beyond that. You can even start to use either there's two plethoras of logic there. You can either go by the ones and zeros and actually code it by hand, or you can go in the direction of like object oriented programming, which is to say that you can make ones and zeros mean a word and then use a combination of words to then produce effectively the same thing. It's just instead of writing the ones and zeros, you sped your efficiency up by making words represent that, if that makes sense. And that's effectively what languages are, in code. But I mean, it's fun to be able to look at it from that perspective. And there's obviously like CNC. So anybody that's taking lasers and cutting out parts, I work with those guys. So I have a fundamental understanding of that. I know the guys that work in CNC shops, so they're metal, they're cutting metal out, shit like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. I like I said, I get my toes dipped in so many different buckets. It's not even funny. Whether it's the finance guy that's sitting there crunching the numbers for something that's worth millions of dollars, and you're trying to crunch how much money somebody's spent, or day-to-day rates on loans and interest rates. That is, like I said, it's one of those things that I get my fucking hands tied in a lot of stuff. I currently don't spend enough time in one area, which is cryptography, and kind of understanding more about like offensive and defensive in terms of security. That's something I'm actively trying to learn more about, which is kind of effectively what hackers are. Like I'm still on the outside of that, but I mean, I'm also kind of how do you say? I'm not quite a game developer either, but I'm wanting to be. I'm just learning a lot of different shit because I understand. I'm like I have kind of multiple different fucking aspirations, right? Just to say, at one point in time, I was like, yeah, I could make a company. That'd be kind of fun. But to do anything, you have to know what it is that you're doing. I like to create things. It's fun to do. It's one of those things that, like, if you do it and you go into it not knowing what you're doing, obviously you can't build a city on your own. Like, a village builds a city, but you can't, like, just jump into it. Like a lot of that stuff, I've spent a stupid amount of time learning so many different things, but I like to get more of a full picture than I do digress into the minutia of things. And that's what makes me a jack of all trades kind of person, is I don't spend too much time in something long enough for me to be an expert in it. I spend enough time that I can very quickly grasp what it is that functionally gets to the answer that I'm looking for, and then I move on to the next thing. And that sometimes cripples me and other times doesn't. It's kind of one of those things that you take it with a grain of salt and you just kind of go with the flow. But honestly, like a game like this, I look at these games and I'm looking at what is it that makes them tick. What makes a game like this fun? And how could I change the way that they've been designed? I mean, in part, a lot of people love these games because I think one of the things that makes them so enjoyable, right? It's the fact that you consistently always have content coming in. There's always something changing, right? Just to say that it is very much a calendar-based system where, like, you play some games and it's more about the game element itself. These games actually kind of, in some ways, resonate with you because you know that, like, hey, there's this event coming up on Wednesday, and there's this and this and this that we need to do. It's always time-based, in these games where they focus very heavily on, well, you need a timer to be able to do this, and you got to have timers to do that. And I feel like in a way that pressures people into doing things, but it is kind of interesting how, like, the design of these kind of games has kind of changed. And I've seen where, it's gone really well, and then other times where it went really bad. But it's one of those things where think if I was going to design a game, right? And I've thought about this a lot. I'm a big fan of like the Flood from Halo. I love zombies. And I love survival based games because it kind of puts you center in knowing where you are in the world. But I don't like to copy the theme of like, oh, it's zombies and you're gonna go ahead and fight the undead. And like nobody likes a zero sum fight where you know you're always at a disadvantage. Right? And these games have kind of changed on themes. You know, it's like, oh, it's the medieval era and you're fighting, you know, you're in the past. You got your modern games, you know, and they shoot each other and they bomb each other into oblivion. Then you got your space games where they're looking into the world and looking at it from a, you know, what could be. I, for one, I've always been a fan of the worlds that are of not based in anything in reality. You know, these are things like Narnia, Harry Potter. Trying to think of like things where they're not based in anything that you can compare them to. This is what makes them entirely unique, as more or less you cannot really you like Star Wars, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where they're based in something, but they're not. They're so far from our abstract reality that we can't make comparisons to them. And that's why they're so easily identifiable, is in part because we know that, well, that place is so foreign and so unique that you can't replicate it. You know immediately when you see it. And I think there's value in that. Like, it's just, how do you go about creating a world that's effectively creation in itself? And it's a very complicated and very difficult thing to like sit down and really think about, or even do, really. What I've come to discover in a short period of time, though, is it's like you look at like Whiteout Survival in particular, and I think there's some strong suits to it, right? Just to say, like you could probably spend a ginormous amount of time doing something a little different from the pay to win crowd. And it would be such a tiny thing, but I swear to God, you would get more people playing your game longer. And it's challenge based rewards. Just to say, Halo 3 did this. And I've seen a few other games that have kind of touched on it. But you don't see it as often as you should. Which is to say that, you know, you play a game like Overwatch and you get a loot crate. You get the loot crate for earning your level. But it's all something that is earned. It's merit-based enforcement. And I feel like in some ways, I'm more of a fan of merit-based enforcement games because it's so much more rewarding knowing you earned it. And I think if I ever do make a game, I'm going to primarily focus most of my time toward the merit-based rewards. Those that are, you know, if you're wanting to make a game like this, obviously, one of the things that, you know, I feel like in some ways the incentive rate is always to how can I get the most amount of money possible? Because a lot of these games, you're going to create cosmetics and stuff, and people are going to pay for them. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, allowing people to do that. The problem is the fact that you get a lot of people that, you know, spend money for advantage. And when that's all that the game becomes, then very quickly people will look at it and go, okay, as long as I have a wallet, I have a chance. It's just most people are poor. So, especially the crowd that, you know, plays these games. So it's like, okay, the few that actually do have money and are willing to spend it really have to enjoy what they're doing, or they've got to be addicted to it. And I feel like in some ways it's a shame because it puts way too much emphasis on people to kind of have a reoccurring addiction. And that's I think one of the biggest problems I have personally is I am a very addictive based person. But I also, I don't know. It's why I'm good at what I do, though. I have way too much addiction towards things. You know, chances are if I don't know it, I will learn it because I don't give up. I have an almost inhuman amount of fucking time that I'll spend towards something. But at times, you know, I don't know. I feel like the the biggest thing that I've noticed, at least now that I've got the new hero, is, and this is one of the things that I was kind of wanting to know, is okay, so like if you look at the overall stats, this kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like at max. Now, if we look at Molly in particular, who's a mildly comparable hero because she's Lancer, right? You notice she's 220, 22, 2. Okay. If we look at Philly, in the same boat, is 2664 and 26640. It's approximately a 4,000 increase in health and a 300 or so increase, well, almost 400 increase in attack. And Lancer attack being at 240 as opposed to, let's see here, 200. It's almost a 40% increase. This is why Gen 2 is better than Gen 1. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's why. That's how they incentivize people to continuously spend, too. You know, it's like a lot of people that spent in the beginning, who have all the Gen 1 heroes, are going to feel as though they've got everything by the balls for a little while. But then about a month in, they'll have a new set of heroes, and that advantage will be gone by the next set of people that have, you know, come in and roll. Or it'll be the same people, but they'll have to continuously spend to stay ahead. This is part of the reason why when I go over here and I click on power, I get a pretty good idea of where I am, because I can see I'm SS tier on hero power, gear power, and chief gear power. I'm currently working on my tech power. Because as you can tell, tech power is apparently my weakest suit, so that's what I'm working on. And it's very much similar in design for that reason, yes. Now, the one thing I will say is that at least this game has actual skins that aren't complete dog shit. Lord's Mobile, on the other hand, it's like, okay, yeah, we've got skins, but they look fucking awful. They don't fucking move. You know, it's like that's something that I think is still holding Lawrence Mobile back, in part because it was more of a picture-based game. And a lot of these picture-based games, I think, when compared to the game, you know, to the ones that are a little bit less invested in the picture base, it like makes a noticeable fucking difference. I will say that some of these are okay, but not my favorite, you know? I mean, they're alright, but this one I'm really looking forward to getting. Because I think I can get it. Windmill Village is pretty cool though, but if I had to choose, I'd rather get Forge Town. Arena of Stars is just, yeah, it's okay. Like I got it, but it's temporary. Oh my days! You know, the one thing about AdBlock and YouTube, man, is it's apparently a very very bad no-no on my part, but you know I don't fucking care. So here we are. Let me pull up my stream here. Hold on a minute. Okay, here we go. I'll be the first one to tell you, Isaac. I don't fucking like ads on YouTube. I know that they've been pushing for people to, like, you know, not use ad blockers, but I am part of that crowd of people that will tell you I don't fucking care for their, you know, fucking premium. That shit sucks. And them trying to force it on other people, I think, is a cruel and unreasonable expectation. About all I need now is more Jack. I think the biggest problem is that YouTube's known this has been a thing for like several years, and they chose to ignore it until about now, when it like now suits them, and they're like, oh yes, we probably need to probably enforce that. Like, no, if you were going to do that, you should have done it a while ago. Yeah, it's like the biggest mistake you guys made is anyway. All right, man. Well, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, have a good one. I'm planning on doing these streams more often. God, I don't know when to do them. It's my problem. But I'd like to think I'll do them more during the weekend because that's usually the best time. It's just when exactly I haven't really decided, but I'll probably post it more than likely when I do, and we'll just kind of go from there. Is what we'll do if and when I get to it. It's one of those things. I'm so fucking bad at streaming. I just do it when I feel like doing it. Which I don't know. Maybe I'll make it more of a regular thing. It's just I gotta be confident enough knowing what I'm gonna do. It's not like going to bore the fuck out of most people. Oh god, where to begin? Yep, have a good one. Shit. Well, I guess with Flint coming, I guess one of the things that I should mention, right? So between Philly and Flint, right? A lot of people like to know whether is Philly worth it or is Flint worth it. Which one is which? Why should I do which? And so on and so forth, right? The biggest advantage of Philly is she's basically a lancer and she's a healer. Okay, you're gonna get health up to 12% or 15% if maxed out every 12 turns. The biggest thing that can be said about Philly here is that like Patrick, she's a healer, and and obviously she's Gen 2, so if you have a Gen 1, Gen 2s are always going to be better. The biggest thing I could say is that like whenever you see like damage up, that's just lethality, basically. Stun chances, are basically just the ability to stun them. Which stuns are okay, but offensively speaking, not very valuable. Outside of her exploration skills, I think her exploration skills are going to be pretty interesting. I think she'll probably be pretty good in arena, if I had to guess. Since that's just kind of a unique skill to have. Now, if we look at her actual gear, her gear in particular, she increases the healing effects by 70% with extraction, and then she imparts basic first aid on defending troops by 15%, which basically puts her as one of the best, if not the best, healer when you're in the Gen 2 circle. Obviously, once we get to Gen 4, Gen 5, so on, then it'll probably change. The Flint in particular, the obvious difference between him and, Philly here is that Flint here is going to increase all troop attack. The only other heroes that actually do that are heroes like Geronimo. So in a lot of ways, a lot of people are going to want to pick up Flint for this reason. With increasing attack by all troops up to 25%, and then having damage taken down up to 50%. There's a lot of benefit to Flint in terms of offensive rallies and stuff like that. I don't know if the arena skills are as beneficial. I mean, they're there. There's some healings, some attack speed. I don't think Flint is as strong of an arena hero as he is more of an attack hero for hitting in PvP. Like where Philly's more of an arena hero, Flint is more an attack hero. I think that's really fundamentally the two differences between those two Gen 2s. Now, Alonzo is one of those heroes that a lot of people do pick up once in a while. But like Philly, he's got stun, he's got damage up, and then he has a chance to reduce damage. I mean, for this reason, I don't think Alonzo is as good. He's obviously better than Zinman, though. So for that reason, I think he's more arena based for sure. Looking at these skills, he's definitely going to be a stronger arena hero, I think. But he's not going to be as strong of a PvP hero, other than his stats. His stats are probably better. Yeah, so he's 240. I mean, that's maybe the only benefit of Alonzo. But overall, the crown jewel here in terms of rally leading and captains, it's going to be Flint. And for most of your rally fillers, it's going to be Philly. And that's just kind of getting a full picture of knowing what you're up against and what you've got going for you going forward. So, let's see. God dang it. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, the little things, man. The little things. Like irking me because it keeps stopping. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Come on. There we go. You two, quit fucking with me, man. Stop it. Listen to my music. God damn it. Oh, what it. I guess I can't be too freaking picky here. Damn it. Yeah, anyway. Attempt to refresh it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Alright. Alright. There, I think. Anyone like that should. Alright. I think that'll make it work. Okay. Anyways. Got Bear Hunt coming out. Let's see. What else could be said or done? Chest here. I guess one thing that should be said, right, is where we are in relation to everybody. So KF is number one. You got TUA, who is starting to work their way to being top. FCAN still behind us, luckily. See here. All right. Well, let's see here. All right. Get this done here. And get this. This is like a level. Look at this. Recommended power 115 mil. Let's go. See if we get by. Try to look here. That's a weird sensation. Shit, we kill it? Oh yeah, we did. So we got some bucks out of that too. And of course I gotta weigh it. $120 mil. I'm not even 120 mil. I'm like 53 mil. Oh damn. Game's throwing some curveballs. Some serious curveballs at us, guys. Well, drops are good at least, I guess. No, I got that one. All right, there we go. So there's another one. No, I got another one. Well, 125 mil. Ah, dude, we're playing this game on challenge mode. Oh boy. Let's see. Who are not likely to prevail. Okay. Well, suppose that's kind of a pull these then. Alright. Got a little while for these. That's alright. Alright, well, let's see. I guess in the meantime, the only thing that really could be said with any amount of thought of intellect, right, is we paired up with a group of people in Foundry that, I kid you not, were pretty fucking difficult. Let me kind of show you. So, like, for example, we ran into this guy. His name's Dumbledore. That guy had not one, not two, but three mythic pieces. And his stats is like all in the 400s. Obviously, even I'm up there, but like I can't fucking put up with that. Like that shit's kind of hard to fight. See if I can find like this hit here. He did. You know, he's got 70 pieces and shit. But let me see if I can find the one with this other guy. This guy was fucking nuts. See if I can find it. And he's in 477, mind you, but like, goddamn. Like, okay, so like this guy, Shadow God. Fucking like, absolute fucking crazy shit. Maybe it wasn't Shadow God. God damn it. Which one was it then? I thought it was Shadow. Maybe it wasn't Shadow. There's a guy with a fucking set of 100 level gear, though, that I ran into. I just forget who it was. God fucking, where is he? Is this guy? Yeah, it's this guy. This guy. This guy's fucking decked out. Like, he has not one, but two level 100. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck even? He's got level 5s and 10s here, but like, what the fuck? Even I'm, like I got 85, 60, I've got a level 9 here. This guy's got a fucking fully maxed out. Fucking guy decked me. Plus he had a third freaking piece done already, and he almost had his fourth piece. That was fucking ridiculous. This guy was fucking nutty, though. Mind you, he was like 442, 450, 430. And even this, in the early A kingdoms, this is not that bad. Like the guys that are really scary are like the 700-800s. But like in Gen 1, Gen 2 fighting, this is fucking ridiculous. Like I thought I was good. Not that good. Not compared to this guy anyway. This guy's got more money in the game than I do. Which naturally. Trying to fight against this shit, you're on a losing battle here. The only thing I noticed though is you'll notice that most of his cores, he hasn't done any of the charms really. So he's spent most of his money in the actual hero gear itself, which I thought was interesting. So what he did was dump a lot of money into leveling up his gear, and then he maxed it out and did essence stones on almost all of it to level 5. And then he's just now doing some of it to level 10. Which I think is kind of clever, like, in a way. Because by doing that, he's got basically a set rotation of 3 heroes that he knows are going to be damn good every time. And I don't know, I mean, I probably could catch up. It's just, a guy like this just was way over my league. But I look at that now, and it's like, okay, that clearly gave him some advantages, like... Interesting that he buffed lethality infantry off. Like, he did all his infantry heroes first. So his advantage infantry-wise was stupid. But even though I'm within reason, it's, it's like... I was doing better on my marksmans than he was. That's the only thing I had going for me. My lethality was doing a lot better. Well, except for attack, though. But that's probably the only thing I could have worked on. But, I mean... In hindsight, though, that this is exactly what I mean by like just tough as shit. Now, mind you, even though I did take the hit, I did end up winning. It's just fucking it was tough. If you actually look at the details and see what his skills procced, you'll see Molly fucking just like mollywopped. And even though I was defending, this here really saved my ass quite a bit, I think. But as you can tell, that was just, I mean, that was a ridiculous amount. Now, he did have some troop bonuses, special bonuses he had procced that I didn't have. But I did have defender bonus there, so that helped kind of even it out just ever so slightly. But even then, you know, that was Foundry Battle though, and it was fucking rough. Like there, I got into it like 20 minutes late, but it was a fucking nightmare. But so many of these guys were statistically just better, like in every way. And a large part, I think, of that being is really just like even here paired up against these heroes versus these. The biggest difference is the fact that their gear is maxed. It's one of the only things that really was holding me back. And looking at it now, it's like even still kind of the same problem I'm having. Is it's like, okay, I just need to level my gear, but can't do that very quickly. So here we are, kind of chipping away at it ever so slightly. But at least now I've got Philly, so I guess I've got that going for me. I do have a shitload of these keys, though. I haven't decided to burn all of them, though. I thought I'd save them. Then we could probably do something interesting with them at some point. But, you know, again, when we get there, I guess we'll just kind of go from there. But it's going to take a while, I have a feeling. Go ahead and grab the gathering junk here. Always want to make sure you max this every day if you can, because you basically get free books, mystery badges, gold keys. That little shit adds up. It looks like all I need to do is attack some polar bears. Looks like. So let me just go ahead and start that here. We'll get a polar terror started here. And mind you, if you didn't know, you can always click on here, and this will tell you actually what your stats are. Such a tiny detail, but I didn't think anybody was really saying anything about it. I just thought I'd mention it. The only thing I also learned not that long ago is that if you go to arena, if you challenge somebody, and I didn't know this for a long time, if you challenge somebody, hit fight, you can actually hit pause here and retreat, and it'll just go straight to victory or loss. You don't even have to watch the whole damn thing. I cannot tell you how much time that saved me. I went from like spending like a good 5 minutes trying to understand why I win and lose. It's like I don't give a shit. I just want a victory, a loss, and then just jump from there. Like that is such a huge time saving. I mean, it's almost like a free auto skip. You know, it's like I don't know why people don't do it more often, but you know, it's like not a lot of people know it, I guess. But nobody told me, so thought I'd go ahead and share that knowledge. Cool. But I don't know. God, where do you even begin? You know, like I feel like outside of that though, shit, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the one of the things that kind of jumped out at me, at least from that fight, was basically you need to have 3 heroes, and then you need to work on their gear level. And then once you have the gear level, get these up to 5 and don't go past that on Essence Stones. Get these up to 5, and then once you've gotten it, go to the next hero and get them up to 5 and max out their tier level. Like that's the way to do that. Like you don't want to try and jump ahead onto one because it just stacks crazy. Like if you look at it, it's like 100 Essence Stones for level 9. If you're at like level 4, it's, you know, it's 50. It's not so bad. You know, and I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but you know, it's still better than what it was. Because once you go from 5 to 6, 6 to 70, it's like you're doing a lot of Essence Stones every time. You know, if you're going from like level 2 to 3, it's like 30, 40, 50, you know, so it's not as bad to get through. But I only point this out because it's a royal pain in the ass to try and do it any other way. God, I don't know. I mean, where else do I even go from here, I guess? I guess one thing I will say is I'm right now still working on the levels of my heroes, which part of the half the battle. I will get fully maxed. It's just a matter of getting there. It takes a while though. And obviously then there's the gear level involved as well, so it's just one of those things that's gonna take a while. But yeah, so like there we got some stuff. Yeah, I got 750,000 or so gems right now. It's a little nutty, but what I get. Collect all these real quick. Get a reward. There's an hour. Shop here. Healing speeds. Always stack up on healing speeds. If there's anything you need a lot of these days, it's healing speeds. Never not get enough healing speeds. You never go wrong with more healing speeds. Shit. Oops. Gonna do that. Oh well. Getting another one now. Really? Might be able to do a couple actually. Try it. Kind of stam now though. Yeah. Well, that'll get the 3. Mind you, I have like a shitload of I got 66 Horn of the Cryptids. I've got 295 widget chests for Gen 2. I actually have 39 extra widget chests that I'll never use, which kind of sucks. Because I was like, oh man, I didn't need that many. Because I already have Zinman, Molly, and Natalia, and Geronimo all done. It was kind of shitty, but it is what it is. But it ain't that bad, I guess. Alright, I'm going to take a quick moment to just go through and basically give myself a second to refill real quick. Gone that long, just long enough to kind of gotta get through some shit here. So hold a bit. Oh wait, actually, scratch it. I have soda. Never mind. Did not know I had soda. I don't think I did. I ain't lied. We have soda. We are good. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. All right. I wonder what some of these tip guides videos have been here lately. How to defend your alliance. How to fill rallies. How to utilize heroes and rallies. Guide on King of the Icefield. It seems like most of the videos are always like how to play, right? It's like from what I can tell. Most of the videos are like, oh yes, this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. It's like, okay. I guess it makes sense, but I mean, hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. I will say one thing that I think that is really important to do, right? Is knowing that with like the Crazy Joe event in particular, if you reinforce, you get more points. And the logic to this is if you have troops and you have spare troops laying around, you can send troops to people that are active, that have troops too, and you're going to help them stay alive longer. And in essence, you're going to give yourself more points. So, in ways more than one, what troops do you send? I am of the opinion if you have a lot of marksmen, those are probably going to do the most benefit. But like Crazy Joe is just kind of like one of those events that you either do it or you don't. Most people, when they actually do end up doing Crazy Joe, they don't really realize it until it like actually comes around the corner. I'm that guy that like wakes up and I see it and I'm like, the fuck am I getting it? Oh, that's right, it's Crazy Joe. Like every time it happens, it's like unscheduled, unplanned, and I'm like, oh, that's right, getting attacked by bots. Like what's all this notification? Oh, that would be why. I don't even care half the time. I don't know. I don't completely different now, right? I've shown you guys how to do Frostfire. At least I think I have. You know, it's just to say that basically, if you can mollywop the fuck out of people like I can, you go to the middle, and then you basically farm, and then it's kind of this little balance game of hitting the monsters or the beasts or the hero march little dudes, so you can get the experience to gather faster. And then you hit the resource tiles, and then that's what you focus on. You don't really bother with fighting other players in Frostfire that much, unless you're just an asshole. You know, and then by the time the furnace actually props up, then that's when you get to beat the asshole and take the thing over. It was actually hilarious when I took it, because there was like hardly anybody that had anything near what I had, so I just walked all over them. And they like had no chance of now. Now, Hollow Chiefs, I mean, like, I'm thinking I can mollywop in this, I think. Main thing is you know, you gotta have a shitload of points to do it, and you got most of your points through either research or construction. My problem is I've already done all the construction that you can do at this current stage of the game. So if you're wondering how many speed ups does he have, I have a shitload. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but this number is gonna get stupid high, and by the time Fire Crystal comes around, I am gonna be walking all over it. Like, I'll probably be day one maxed out Fire Crystal, because I'll just have all these fucking speeds that I built up over the span of, like, several months. You know, so in some ways, I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, now, casual speeds, okay, yeah, I've got, like, 289 of these. I've got 5 3 hours, 2 8 hours. I've got 790 research speeds right now. But if you want to know how to play this, you always wait until you get the max amount of helps. Then you burn your speeds. You do not ever burn your speeds without the maximum number of helps. If you are doing that, you are wasting yourself a shitload of fucking time that you could have used otherwise. It looks like from the main thing, and that's kind of the only downside, right? You would actually think, once you have all this stuff maxed out, that you would actually have something else to do. You don't. Once you hit 30, you actually can't do anything. Like, that's what I thought was kind of interesting. I was expecting there to be like a limit cap that would get lifted once you had everything maxed out. No. Like, once you've got all the shelters done, you've done all of the cookhouses, all the micro upgrades, once you've done them all, there's nothing else. Now, if you're wondering how many resources I have, that's how many resources I have from purging an entire alliance. I have, like, close to 500 mil, and I don't think I'm ever going to burn through 500 mil. It's almost impossible to burn through. I really can't burn it. Like, I've tried. I can't. I could probably do it if I built like a shitload of troops or something, maybe. Which I have 750,000 crystal, and I might be able to build enough that it might. But I'd have to have multiple millions of it, I have a feeling. Which is a fair idea, honestly. Like, I'm not opposed to doing that. I'll just like wake up, just build a fucking shitload of infantry. God, that would be fucking hilarious. Just build a shitload and then just be like the top personal power player in the game and just fucking have a shitload of infantry. Be that guy, you know, just fucking mollywops. But yeah, like, main thing I'm doing right now is I'm basically trying to get down to this. Because once I get to this, I want to max this out. I'll have all my research boost that I have possible. And then I'll go straight back to battle and just start maxing this out. I'm not going to worry about economy. Because I did it almost all the way up to 4, and then I just kind of called it quits once I got to this point. Because I was already doing so well. Because you can actually just attack players and get resources. It's a lot easier that way. And if you're not afraid of being an asshole, I mean, you can actually, once you get to a certain point where you're like 250 to 300%, you can mollywop most people. Especially with T10. Once you get T10, you can mollywop the fuck out of people that have like T6 and T7. They don't have a chance in hell. Like, I can walk all over them. In fact, I can go back and show you some of the reports I had from PCL, and it's just funny to me. Like, a lot of people gave me shit, but like, dude, like, some of these hits, dude, it's fucking ridiculous how bad they were. God, I don't know. I've got like hit after hit after hit. I like wiped these guys out. Like he had like 100 some odd K, and one hit he lost 21,000. I lost 800, but he lost 21,000. And you look at that, you know, 380 to 180. You know, it's like T5s to, you know, to this. It's like, dude's fucked. You know, 4,000, and then the rest just dead. And it's all shit troops, in my opinion. These are all really bad troops. They're like, somebody could cry a river over that, fine, but they're not really worth it. Very weak troops. This guy had like 200k. I hit multiple people like that, though. Where they just lost tens and thousands. And they, you know, I mean, most of his decent troops would get wounded. So then what I would do is I'd hit him again. And so, you know, second hit was always worse than the first. Because the first hit, when it would fill his infirm, the second hit was just all dead. So, like, boom, 4,600, boom, 3,500, you know. Like, all of it died. It all just dies at that point. That's the one thing about, like, soloing I've noticed, is, like, in this game, you know, a lot of people don't really fully understand the stat bonuses all that well. Obviously, if you're statistically advantageous by, like, over 100% across the board, you're going to walk all over them. And if you go to the power-up tab, it'll tell you where you are in relation to people in the game. But the main thing is if you go to battle details, you can actually go to skill details and see what procced, what went off. Here you can actually see how many times his abilities procced and shit like that. If you go to stat bonuses, this will actually tell you what the special bonuses that you have activated versus, you know, what they get for being defender. Like here you can see they get 10% for defense, and that's just for home territory. But I had all these other bonuses tacked onto it, and they're just 10% bonuses, but it makes a difference, you know. But that's, you know, that was hitting PCL. When we got into that fight with, I think it was Afghan at one time. Like this guy. You know, like a comparable mollywop. You know, 250 to 28k. Like, it just, meh. And they hit my garrisons and they just get completely wiped. It just wasn't even like comparable at that point, you know. It's like it doesn't have a chance. Yeah, that was all PCL shit. Let me see if I have any well, because when we went up against QBC, I mean, like I said, this guy here was a fucking monster compared to me. That guy's got not one, not two, but 3 mythic pieces. And even though his gear and everything was shit, right? He's got 88k to 480. He still tried it. You could see how much of a difference that made, because look at all of that. He doesn't have any of his stats. He doesn't have any benefits or anything like that. It's all missing, right? So this guy doesn't look as strong, when he doesn't have his heroes. But when you actually put that guy up against like a comparable, like he's actually got his shit on and everything. That guy's got fucking like, well, that's not even the right guy. Might have been this one, maybe. Yeah. So this one here, fucking level 100. Multiple level 100 pieces and then having them at 5 gave him like 75% health, 100% lethality. That motherfucker was walking all over me at 442, 450. Like that guy could fucking walk all over somebody. You know, like that what I learned from that was though is that like he has to have those heroes in rotation though to be able to do that. If he doesn't use those heroes in rotation, he's not as good. It makes a huge difference though. A lot of people don't realize that your heroes are going to be pretty integral into how well you're going to do in a fight. You know, and it's like, even though you've got your chief gear, which is going to give you some stat bonuses, it's the cherry on top. It's the hero gear that actually makes a pretty sizable difference and how well you're going to do both in arena, but also on the ground and fighting against other players. I mean, he was able to solo my ass out almost on a comparable amount of troop count. Like, that doesn't say, I mean, basically, that was Foundry, but that was a comparable 1-to-1 ratio. And it makes it that much of a difference. Oh, can you hear the ice in my glass? Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of ice left, but I will tell you that Jack goes down a lot better with soda. Fortunately, I ran out of Jack, so now we're down to soda. But outside of that, though, I mean, main thing is I got Philly. So now going forward, we're actually going to be on to some advantages here. We're going to read the story too, real quick, because I think it's always fun to read these stories. I don't know if anybody else does, but you don't see a whole lot of people actually talk about their stories. So it says here, the sight of a strange masked woman can be unsettling. Well, that's okay. Alright. What does she look like behind that beaked mask? Or is that actually part of her? Who the fuck thinks this way? For that, people always stayed away from Dr. Philly until a plague struck several years ago. The deadly disease hit the cities without warning. The chiefs designated a village as the quarantine spot for all those infected. Although without proper resources, people in the village were practically left to die. Well, that's fucking dark, but okay. When all hope was lost for the sick and forsaken, Dr. Philly chose to enter the village in search of a cure. Okay. Philly spends a lot of time in the city graveyards and is often faced with accusations of grave robbery. Her studies of dead bodies are now encouraged by the authorities, as her discoveries often lead to new cures. Huh. This is getting dark, but okay. Philly is still regarded as a somewhat mysterious figure for spending long hours at the morgue. Holy shit. The air of mystery made some people believe that Philly possesses supernatural power against diseases. Oh my god. Okay. The truth was far more mundane. Philly was a promising medical researcher in the academy before a plague claimed the lives of all of her families. Wait, what? She had multiple families? Oh my god. Philly was the only survivor. Jesus. After that, she became determined to push boundaries and find new treatments for the plague. Well, okay. Billy threw herself back into her studies with a vengeance. She has marked out disease and death as her personal enemies, and with anger came courage to face whatever dangers head on. However, Philly's goal is not just to conquer disease. She believes that one day she will be able to find a way to reverse death, even to the extent of bringing her family back. Well, that's sad and dark and also kind of concerning. Okay, well, I don't know about you guys, but if you ever sit down and play a mobile game, and you read the freaking backstories to these, like in Lord's Mobile, there's some jaded ass shit in these goddamn hero stories, where it's like, goddamn, it's a little dark, just a little.
You know, just a teeny weeny bit. You know, like just enough to freak me out a little bit. Like whoever wrote these is like, you know, they're on point, but it's like, whoa. I like how they were very quick to point out he was born with a silver spoon. Being as he's one of the most expensive heroes, it's like, oh, ah, I wonder why. Okay, okay. So he's good. He was upper class. I wonder why. Oh wait, what? As a result, he accumulated a huge amount of debt from what? Oh, so apparently he has an expensive taste. Okay, should have known. Okay, he hated the underhanded techniques of Paranth, and his departure was an inevitability. Okay. Huh. So basically, Geronimo is this really bad. He's bad with money. No, no. Who'd have guessed? The little things they tell you. Just like they just nudge it just enough, you know, just to let you know. Snowball. Okay. Baratheon's combat program. Okay. I don't know why I say Baratheon. I should have said Phaethon, but here I'm going Baratheon. Yeah, this is fucking, you know. That's the name, you know. Yeah, no. My brain. God damn it. She's connected to the planet in a mysterious and unexplained way. She had no memory of her past, but she had superhuman vitality and physical strength. Okay, so she basically is an inhuman. She's not technically human. What the fuck? You know, I don't know. For a group of people that are out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in the snow, you know, the backstory is that they're part of a group of people that made fucking human soldiers, you know, or like they're like some kind of like fucking human experiment. That's kind of fucky. It's not the shit you would read, you know. It's like I'm kind of concerned. I think Natalia might be the most normal out of all of this. She's just a ecologist. Now we don't know Tile yet, but I'm gonna say a wild guess and say Tile's probably a hero we haven't seen yet. And it's kind of one of those things, you know. It's like even though the heroes you get access to in the early game, it's like they make references to the ones that you don't have yet at some point in time, which is kind of interesting. It's like in some ways more than one you actually have some advantage in reading them. But you know, it's like the little things, you know. Outside of that, though, God, where to begin? Um, I would say though, if you get anything from these reports and shit, though, it's just basically if you want to get ahead and you want to be way ahead of most people, get your gears up to level 5. Don't go past that, and then level them up to 100. And it looks to me like the guy that royally kicked my ass was smart, and that he basically did infantry first, is what he did. Then he did Lancer. I don't agree with that. I think I'd do infantry then marksman. I would bother with Lancer last if it were me. And that's just my 2 cents on that. It's the only thing that I feel like he did wrong, but other than everything else is fine. Out of that, though, I mean, we have proven, though, that the Gen 2 heroes are definitely better than the Gen 1 by a fairly sizable margin. Because you're looking at, like, basically 400 more attack for Philly than Molly. And you're getting 40% more into the attack and defense stats for those heroes. They're better than Gen 1 by about 40%. Which means that basically as the game goes on and as we progress, it's only unlikely that you probably will eventually ditch certain heroes and work on a set of 3 or 4 at a time. One of the biggest disadvantages I have right now is I only actually have 2 that are at 80, and I need to get the other 3 to 80. I'm just not there yet. And the biggest thing is now I'm going to have Flint in this fucking equation, and I'm going to have to somehow find a way to make that work. It's just kind of a pain in the ass because you got to get all the XP to do it. I guess I could probably do drill camp though, and add Jesse to the drill camp. There's no reason not to. But yeah, it's just like that's one of those things that it comes with its own set of problems. It's just one of those things that going forward, if we do anything with any amount of detail, it's just that basically if you do get Gen 2, you want to focus down on really kind of getting them in utility ahead, because like if you put Molly and Philly in a room together, you're going to want Philly for the stats. And because Philly's a healer, even though Molly does have some really exceptionally good stun, and she has damage up abilities, when you compare that to a heal up, a damage up, and a stun, I don't know. I personally think that Philly's probably going to be a better hero overall, both in arena but also in stats. There's just more than one thing that Philly's got going for. And I don't know. I mean, if we go into arena, I guess we could kind of poke around and see exactly how well that actually pans out. So, let's see if like this guy here is 10, and he doesn't have her yet. So that is one thing I'm going to have against this guy. Now, the only difference between me and this guy is probably the fact that he's got AI. So, like, here you can see he's got a full set of level 10. Holy shit. See, now this guy is fucking maxed out. Like, what the fuck? This guy's got fucking decked out all the way. And he's almost level 100 all the way, which makes a huge fucking difference. Like, the stat gain on that, 87% on lethality, 92% on health. Like, that is a massive fucking boon to his skill advantage there. However, you will see that he's not doing as well with Geronimo, so he is kind of falling behind a little bit in different ways. But yeah, that does add up, though. That's something to keep in mind, though. It's just one thing about Hero Gear. It's like a lot of people that invest a lot in time into it. That's that's part of the reason why. So like here, if I pop this, we can watch it and see what Philly does. I'll go slow because I'm kind of curious myself. Like, what exactly does Philly do? So, okay, so she pops the heal and she like heals. It's not as advantageous. I wish I could like dictate when they proc, but that's fine. See how much of a difference that made, though? Because the healing is there, it's actually making them live longer, which obviously now I can't go up any higher, so that's as high as I'm going to get for the day, but that's fine. But this guy's fucking decked out, and really a lot of these guys are decked out, in part because they've got their gear level all the way up. So if anything, what I need to probably do is invest in the actual level of my gear, because that's really kind of what seems to be setting me apart from a lot of those guys right now. Like, I don't have fully maxed out stuff yet. Got a ways to go before I can actually do that, but that does seem to be making the biggest notable boon to their benefit in the actual event, for that matter, especially in Arena. I guess one thing that can be said about Alliance Championship, we're in Tier 3 right now. And of course, there's a bunch of fucking rules and blah, 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 right? But we go into troops. Right now, we've got left lane, middle lane, right lane. And if you look at my deployment, I mean, I'm always at the bottom. But if you look at, say, like Dakanoth, for example, you'll see he's got 38, 38, and then he does the first 3. If you look at mine, I basically got these 3. I'm not even using Philly yet. It'll be kind of interesting once I get Philly maxed out, because that'll change it. I wonder if I can actually get there in time. Probably not. At least not for Alliance Championship. But I might be wrong. I don't know. It's in 68 hours, so or not even that. But I don't know. It's Castle Battle is going to be the biggest thing coming up. But when Lucky Wheel drops, we'll burn a lot in that. We'll probably do a stream for that once that arrives, and then we'll dump 700,000 or so gems into this and see what we get. And that's what we'll try and see. 757. We'll just dump the full 750k into Lucky Wheel and see what we get. And I think that'll be interesting. I mean, because I'd like to think that we can kind of see how that turns out. One thing that we do have going for us in this alliance, not least, is that we've at least got our territory bonuses and everything all maxed out. Just really nice. And again, a lot of that stuff it takes time. But I'm already prepared for Flint. Once Flint comes around, I'll get Flint maxed out. I've already got like 15 of his Dragonbone widgets. So I should be set to go for that. Looks like I could probably use some of my XP though. Or if I've got enough yet. Probably not. Yeah, like half a mil. Almost. So when I get to VIP 11, I can... Because the thing is to max Geronimo, you gotta pay out all the VIP level packs. And to get to 12 is gonna take forever. If and when I get there, though, it'll be nice. But it's $50 a pop, so 50, 50, 50. It's 150, a little ways. But if and when we get there, it's that or you dump all your fucking gems into it, and then you maybe get there a little faster. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think that's worth it. But that's just all I have to say about it, really. Outside of that, though, I don't know. Given all I've told you guys, I'd say that's really about all you need to know as far as Flint and Philly is concerned. And then this kind of give you a pretty good idea of what I've got so far. Again, just keep doing your daily missions. That's what you need to do in order to get ahead. Looks like I need to do... It's like I'll train some, but that'll all be fine. I'll get these in by the time I wake up tomorrow. And we'll go ahead and get that. So we're good to go there. Let's see. I think I'm out of stamina, so not really a whole lot more. The one thing that is super helpful, though, is to always turn on auto join before you go to bed. That is a super huge boon to you if you did not already know. It is something you definitely want to make sure you're doing because it makes a hell of a difference, at least in the long term. Outside of that, I mean, I'd say really about the only other thing I've noticed that a free-to-play player can do is if you go into Chief's house, you can pop Rush, Job, and Festivities. You don't need to pop any of the other ones, really. Double time you'll do whenever you're planning to upgrade a building, but that's like the only other time. I guess I should be worth saying that if you do new upgrades in the city, it pops at 20%, which I'm kind of curious if that includes research or not. If it does, that'd be pretty... Right, a frickin' Arbuckle, we'd probably want to grab. I don't know, we'll have to look at that sometime. I suppose there's really a whole lot more to say. Well, did not mean to do that, I bet. Go get our last free recruitment. Do 26 of these and 114 of those. Pretty much good to go there, I think. Much that, though, I think. We'll just go ahead and send our gatherers out around. It's good. $390. 700. There, grab that. Okay. Now that should cover us. Are we done? Oh, pretty close. Let's go. That's enough for me. The next one, and then we'll get this one. That probably didn't put us ahead by any means, but that's fine. Once we get the research done, it'll pay off. It's one of those things that takes a longest time to do, though. And it's 20,000 to our infirmary, so I guess it's better than nothing. And once we get that done, though, then we'll be pretty much good to go there. We'll probably do this at some point, too, because research will be handy. But, you know, it's just one of those things that we'll get there. We gotta wait until we get 50 helps on that, and then we'll, obviously, once we get that, then we'll go down the rabbit hole of doing the others. Still got a ways to go, though. Grab that. Let's see. In case you're wondering, I always run the rotation on these. So I get all gems and then I refresh it. Then I just do it again. The only reason why is because you get speeds once in Blue Moon. And I don't even need the resources, so I just rotate them around until I get whatever I can. Like I got 225 now. I could probably refresh this and see if there's any 200s there. Oh, shitty luck. Well, I really don't really need anything yet. Probably get these though at some point, but oh wait, I don't need the resources either. In case you're wondering why I say that, look at the resource bags. I mean, that's so much. It's so goddamn much. It doesn't look like a lot, but that is a shitload that you see on your screen right there. It's a lot of fucking resources. It's actually fucking stupid how much that is. But, I don't know. The little things, though, you know, and they add up. Let's see. Aside from our stamina being, like, next to nothing, probably ought to try and see if I can get down. So now that I've got Philly, I wonder if I can get ahead. Probably can. See how much further along we can get. See, oh my god, you're like fully healed. Holy shit. That's pretty wild when that's like the skill ability. Like, Jesus. That might have made the difference too. To get to 383. Enough. Alright, let's go and see what we do the next round. It's 383. That one not. Shit, this is getting dicey. Oh shit. Oh, been living long enough. Yeah, I don't like the look of this. Maybe. No. 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 Nope, nope, nope. Let's try one last thing. Let's retry. But let's see if I can do it manually. See, I can't even do it fast now is the problem. Restart, fine. What time zone? Hey, what's up? Pop, 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 pop. Well, I mean, it made a difference. But is it going to be enough? I don't know. I guess so. Huh, unlucky, yes. Okay. This, pop this, pop this, pop that, pop, 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 pop. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna say we probably don't win this. Yeah, we got 385 at least. We're getting there. So one thing that I can always see is where I'm at in relation. So I'm at 384, so I'm not far behind. Fucking Wasabi's fucking 398 already. Like, God damn. I don't know what the fuck they got, but man, they must be fucking decked. I just know a large part of the reason why like they're ahead though is because they've got stats set into their heroes. And that's the only difference. Well, like so like this is what my gear looks like in terms of chief gear. My hero gear is not as good though. I got 75, 85, 60, 60, 4 and 4s, 50, 70, 72, 50s. And, I mean, as far as exclusive gear is done, I'm already maxed out on that. These are all maxed out. In fact, I even got Philly maxed almost. I've already got that done. I'll have Flint tomorrow. Or on Tuesday anyway. I've already got the skills almost all done. And I'm going to 3-star Philly right now. Now, the only thing about Gen 1 versus Gen 2 is that Gen 2 is about 40% more in terms of Lancer DPS compared to Molly. Yeah, this is Gen 2. This came out today. I've already got it at 3 stars. I'll have Flint come Tuesday. You're wondering how you get Philly, you, right now you can get her through... Yeah, if that doesn't tell you what, I don't. But, daily deals, you can get her picked up there. And then if you want to know the secret, basically once you get the medals, then you can use the mythic shards. And that's how I actually got it to 3-star in such a short period of time. Because I just dumped that many mythic shards. Yeah, it is. You can get into Philly today. If you're in 467 anyway. Main thing is that Brother in Arms comes Friday this week. And then Lucky Wheel Tuesday, which would be tomorrow for Flint. And I'll dump the full 700k or so into Flint, more than likely. Just so that I have Flint maxed out. And Flint, in comparison to Philly, in terms of like their benefit, Philly's better in Arena, I believe, and Flint's a better... if you're wanting to attack players, Flint's the better option. So if you're going to dump into anything, get Flint. Because he'll be a better Impera. Biggest thing I've noticed is, as far as my gear goes, and this is really something I should have really looked into more, but I didn't as much. You want to get these up to 5, and then don't go any farther on Mastery Forger. You want to max them up to 5 first, and then you want to basically level. Like, if you're doing infantry, just level these up, all done, and get them all done. Because you'll be super fucking ridiculously overpowered. The guy that has a full set level 100 and level 5 Mastery Forgery set is mollywopping the fuck out of almost everybody. Because I went in Foundry, right, and that's what that guy was doing. I mean, in some ways more than one, I was pretty close to him, but there was one significant difference, and that being the fact that basically he had level 100 set gear. I mean, that guy was fucking decked. Like, I could try, but I was nowhere near that invest. Like, he's in 477 too, which thank God he's not in ours, because if he was, he'd fucking mollywop the hell out of almost everybody we have. So I got a report on it, right? And I mean, you can see what his mythic gear is, but the biggest scary part is the gear. Let me show you if I can find that report again. It might have been this one. Yeah. Look at this. Fucking level 100 Guardian Gauntlets. He had it level 10. But he has 100% lethality. Like, this guy, fuck, man. Like, 95%. Like, that guy was fucking decked. That guy was fucking absolutely decked. And even though I was doing okay, like, you compare this to that, that's fucking... You know, he was overpowered in Lancer and Infantry. And I was only a little bit behind in Marksman. But, like, that guy was fucking mollywopping the hell out of me. The only thing I've learned from it is I need to get my gear up to level 100, because that clearly makes a hell of a difference. there's not much difference in terms of chief gear. But the only other thing I need to do is research, which is what I'm trying to work on. So hopefully I'll get down to this, get the research speed done, and then we'll start doing battle research again. Because I'll have the most efficient research that I have, which is, that's, I think, ideal. Outside of that, I mean, really, technically, I should be doing Jasser, too. If you don't know why Jasser is important, the main reason you want to do Jasser, okay, is because Jasser has the research speed. Which I almost have. I just need to get them to 4 stars. Which, I don't know, maybe I could. I could, in theory, maybe get close, I guess. Do 3, and then I just need 3 more. So, I mean, it's within reason. Like, I could potentially get them to 4. I need to dump quite a bit into getting epic shards, though. Which I guess is possible, actually, because I've... God. This is fucking, by the way, a little ridiculous. 125 mil. I have like a maxed out intel. This shit's fucking difficult. I guess it's actually fucking difficult to do that. But yeah. Anyway, okay, I digress. But it's like that shit's like fucking overpowered. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pop. I really probably ought to just dump a shitload of stamina. Is what I need to do. Because I can get a shitload of purple shards that way and max out Jasser and then get my research speed up another 3%. Counting the core research that I'm going to get from that, then I'll just do battle research. But that'll make a huge dent in that. That's what I probably ought to do. That's not really that bad of an idea, actually. I might just do that. Because that makes sense to me. Like, because basically, if I can get the research speed to where it's at the highest rate that it can be, it'll make it the cheapest and the fastest in terms of time. And that's all I need as far as battle research goes, because I need to go through here and just max these out. Because I guarantee you, if I was in a room with these guys, if I've got comparable research done, the chances of them winning are very slim. Because I'll have the same amount of gear, the same amount of hero gear, same amount of chief gear, and the only thing that'll make the difference is going to be in that research. It's what I don't have that is actually holding me back ever so slightly against some of these guys. That's like the only thing. Because if and when I do have that maxed out, that is going to make the difference. I mean, now obviously, when we get to Fire Crystal, that's going to change the whole fucking game, but I don't know, man. We got pets and a lot of other shit we got to look forward to, so we're not even in that realm yet. In fact, if I go back to the Whiteout Survival Discord, let me see if I can find the reference to when things come along, because they actually had a guy that like took the time to like kind of forecast when the shit arrives. So the server timeline for Gen 1 is 0 days, Gen 2 is 40 days, Sunfire is 54 days. Pets is exactly after Sunfire. So, what I can tell you with some certainty is after Sunfire, we'll have pets. Okay? And shortly after that, Fire Crystal in 60 days, which is only like a week after pets. That's a day after Sunfire. So basically, a week after Sunfire, we're going to have pets. And that's going to throw another ring in the dynamic with the game, right? But take that with a grain of salt. But obviously, then after that, that is to say, when you hit Fire Crystal, that's T11. Hey, what's up, Maya? But once you get to that, 20 days after Fire Crystal, we have SVS. That's when we'll have state versus state, and everything goes to shit from there. But then Gen 3 will be exactly 40 days from that point. So after SVS, we'll have Gen 3. Then we'll have, Tier 5 Fire Crystal, and the laboratory doesn't show up until 150 days. And that's the T10, T11 shit that I'm talking about. So you don't really worry about it until, from where we're currently sitting, we have exactly 2 months, roughly, until what I'm describing to you will happen. Okay? But then by that point, you'll have Gen 4 in 3 months from now. And then the War Tech Academy will arrive, and that's when you have T11, like, actually come out. and that's in approximately 5 to 6 months from now. We got half a year. We don't have to worry about it until June, right around there, June, July, at least for our server, our state. And then shortly after that, they'll have about another couple months after that. So you won't until November of next year. We won't have Gen 5, at least in our state anyway. And then after that, you'll have like another 100 days. That's another 3 months. You won't have the Gen 6 heroes and stuff like that until like February of next year, right around, or 2 years from now, even. So there's a shitload of time in between, and compared to like the old state and our state, I mean that's the only thing you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. But it's just like it's important to know this because that's kind of the scaling, right? Obviously, the biggest thing that I was kind of getting at earlier was okay. If you look at like Molly, right? Okay, you see how it's 200% down here, and then 220, 220, and 220 to 200. Okay, if you compare a Gen 1 hero to a Gen 2 hero, like Philly, okay, you go from 220 to 2664. Your hero defense doesn't change, but your health goes up almost 4,000. And then you go from having 200% Lancer attack to 240% Lancer attack. It's a 40% increase, which for those that have it versus those that don't have it is going to be a fairly sizable difference. A 40% difference on somebody that, is going to be the difference between winning rallies and not. Plus, Philly's a healer. Which that's, got its own set of fucking challenges when you're up and rallying people, because Molly's not really a healer, so to speak. How's that dynamic going to play out in arena? And it's going to change how you're, impacted here. I mean, now this guy here, he's obviously, a formidable foe, but the thing is the biggest bonus or, tied to him right now is the fact that he's got he's got basically T10 gear. I mean, outside of that, he's really not all that scary. So if you were to just make a comparable set of gear, you'd actually be probably better than him once you have Philly maxed out. And that's the thing, it's just having it maxed out, though, is going to be the line in the sand. And I think part of the reason why I feel like now I kind of probably sit down and just work on my hero gear, I just dump into that. Because if you get that maxed out, you're going to have an advantage. And that advantage is what ultimately ends up leading you ahead of almost everybody around you. Outside of gear, a hero gear, which this is the only other place really where you've got some places that you can tweak, but a lot of that stuff takes a lot of fucking time and money. That's the only other thing really. But again, I'm only pointing this shit out because it's it's something to keep in mind and just kind of know what's coming. But we're not there yet. We've still got plenty of time. I do have enough widget chests though, so when Flint finally does arrive, we'll be there. We'll be good to go. But all I've learned from this experience though is it's like I basically need to level this out. Gotta get these all the way up to 100, and then I'll be far ahead. That's really kind of what makes what stands out as what gets you ahead in this game. But that's just something that we'll build up on, and we'll get there. It's just gonna take a while. Outside of that, I mean, shit. Better gifts here. Party grabber. Might as well. Never go wrong with getting little freebies here and there. Gonna make a difference, and we'll put a dent in it anyway. Ultimately, though, I think that's pretty much all the information I can give you guys for the meantime. But hopefully, that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. And I'll see you guys to the next stream. I believe I will stream once we have Flint come along. I'll either stream it or I'll upload a video. I'm not really sure, but I'm leaning towards probably streaming it since that just sounds more like fun. And if I do that, it's going to be around the same time, Central Daylight Time. So it'll be around 6, 7 o'clock Central Daylight. More likely 7, but we'll see. I'll kind of try to keep you guys posted on when and where.
And ultimately, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a real wonderful rest of your night for those that live in my time zone. And for those who are just waking up, have a good, wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you guys